Welcome back, friends. It's Anders. Today we're talking Umeshu, also called Japanese plum wine, but it's not wine. It's more of a liqueur. And this is homemade. You can buy it and it's delicious, but it's really easy to make yourself, which is what Oz and I did a year ago. This has been aging a year and it's now ready to taste. The first mention of Umeshu dates back to the 1500s in the Kagoshima prefecture of Japan, which happens to be where Oz grew up. So I'm gonna have her come on, we're gonna taste this, make a batch for next year, hopefully introduce you to a new thing. If not, and that's great too. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more sips, tips, and recipes. And let's go drink some Umeshu. To the bar. The star of the show is ume, which is also called the Japanese plum, but these are not plums, what I think of plums anyway. They're closer to an apricot. In fact, you can substitute unripe apricots for this recipe because ume are hard to come by. The season's really short, and we are lucky enough that we live near a Japanese market that gets these in. These were grown in California.
Although, well, it doesn't have to be a Japanese market. Check if you have a local Asian market.
Typically, the season is early to mid-May. So we've been waiting for these, and they just came in now, and they've sold out instantaneously.
Yeah.
First time I ever had these was in Japan. Oz's dad made a homemade umeshu. Umeshu. Am I saying that word?
Umeshu.
Umeshu.
Umeshu, yeah. This is ume. It's the name of the fruit. And shu is, it's complicated, but shu means wine or alcohol. So it's plum wine.
Okay.
Translated, even though it's not wine. Actually, we meant to put this video out earlier so that maybe you could have a chance of going out and buying them. We got them late, and so this video had to be late, so sorry if you can't find any, but you'll be prepared for next year. But even if you can't make it, you can buy it already pre-made, and you can have that any time of year. So,
this is a common umeshu that is available commercially by Choya. I think it's the most common, at least here in Chicago. There's all different kinds. There's cloudy umeshu where they actually blend up the ume and you get a real strong ume flavor. You can see they have the little ume on the bottom.
you can eat them. Now, once they're like this,
Once the infusion is complete.
then you can eat the ume. And they're really quite tasty. Just don't eat them when they're like not ripe.
And you can get
These are my favorite.
little jars.
I drink these all the time, actually. I just pour this over ice, and there's a little ume in there, so you get one ume. Now for the umeshu that we made here at home. Wow, that's a big baby.
It is, and I can't wait to try it.
Once you can get your hands on the ingredients, it's super simple. You only need 3 things, and the 3 things are
Ume, rock sugar, or lump candy is what this is called.
rock sugar.
And shochu, but you don't even need shochu, you can use vodka. You want a neutral spirit that is going to leach out the flavors of the ume and not take over anything. But we are using a higher proof shochu, not to be confused with a honkaku shochu. Did I say that right? Honkaku?
Honkaku.
Honkaku.
Honkaku shochu. Yeah.
Shochu.
Shochu.
I'm trying.
I know. Yeah, it's a good effort.
This one is made from sweet potatoes, and it's only distilled once. So you actually can still taste a little bit of the sweet potato.
The reason why this one is different is because it's been
Distilled more, and it is also higher proof.
So I guess it's closer to a vodka.
And the flavor is neutral, which is important because we want to taste the ume. We should also mention price. It was probably close to $100 all said and done.
Probably, yeah. The most expensive part is buying 3 of these guys because you're gonna need 3 of these, and they were about $20 each. You know, that's kind
use
of
a
a
cheap
chunk.
vodka. All right.
Shall we begin?
Yeah, Oz, walk us through this.
The recipe that we're gonna be using is actually printed on the label for this thing. You can tweak it, but we're gonna give you like the straightforward standard one so that you have some sort of baseline. So, the first thing you'll need is this jumbo 4-liter jar. This one's a traditional jar, but you can use any big jar. For the ingredients, you will need 1 kilogram of green ume, 500 grams of rock sugar, and 1.8 liters of 35% or higher shochu or vodka. So to get started, inspect each ume just to make sure none of them have any weird bits like scratches or spots. apricots. If you find any weird ones, just toss them. Then I gently rinse them with water. You can also opt to soak them in water for 2 hours. Supposedly that's supposed to help with removing any bitterness, so you can try that. Pat them dry nice and gently, and then remove the leftover pieces of the stems from each one with a toothpick. Now that your ume is ready to go, let's build. Then we're gonna layer the ume with the sugar. Just put them in nice and gentle. So you're gonna get a nice layer of your ume right on the bottom there, like that. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take a handful of your rock sugar and then you put it right on top. So basically the rest of the time you're just gonna alternate ume and sugar. Ume and sugar, you're just gonna alternate until you're all out of those things. Okay, I'm gonna have Anders do it.
This is a huge jar. Whoa.
What? Oh, that's an example of what not to do. Yeah, actually the
sugar just kind of falls in between everything, so
yeah.
it's really not
I mean, it all just gets
layers.
mixed up later anyway, but this is the way that you're supposed to do it. Now that this is done, we are gonna pour in the shochu. Okay, that's one.
Get the vortex going.
Anders has fancy tricks that I don't. And then 300 milliliters from the last bottle.
There we are.
There we are. That's how you make umeshu. And then you put the lid on it and you put a date on it so you don't forget. And there you go.
Once you've made your umeshu, store it in a cool, dark place and give it a shake every once in a while to incorporate the sugar.
Technically, you can drink it after 6 months, but it'll be more delicious after a year.
And you can age it even further. The one that your dad made was 3 years, I think?
I think my dad just forgot about it. I don't think he was that patient. I think he just forgot about it.
I think that's true. All right, so now without further ado, we are gonna taste the umeshu that we made last year. I'm very excited about this.
Oh, that smells good.
It smells so good.
That smells so good.
Really?
Oh, I'm like salivating.
Yeah, yeah. Look like little brains.
1 year old.
1 year old.
Cheers.
Kanpai.
Kanpai. Wow, so different from the store-bought one.
It's stronger.
It's stronger.
You can get the heat from the booze.
We did put in extra booze. That was probably our fault.
I really like it. It has more acid than the store-bought brand. Really nice, bright ume flavor though. And if you were to use this in a cocktail, you could use it in replace of something like an apricot liqueur.
And you can even, when you're done, oh, thank you. There is a pit inside, as do all stone fruits. So just be careful, but you can eat this. It's super fun. Oh, this one's a bit crunchy.
Oh, wow.
So if you don't want to infuse it anymore, you can take out the ume. And then it's done.
Let me know if you are familiar with umeshu. Leave a comment down below if you have your own recipe or if you've used it in cocktails. I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in a comment down below also. You all right?
Yep, I'm good.
Good. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified the next time a video comes out. And we will see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Kanpai.